Hello again, this is Julie from One More Page. I'm going to do a quick reading wrap up for 2014, looking at what I read in December. And what I'm really excited about, I'm going to talk a little bit about 2015, my reading goals, and some new things I have in the plans for my booktubing life. And actually, I've decided to go with a whole new format for my 2015 booktubing year, so I'm excited to share with you that vision of how that's going to roll. Okay, let's have a quick look at December 2014, how I closed out the year. I managed to read 5 books in December. I had a lot of books on the go and still have a few that are carrying over, but these are the 5 that made the cut that I finally finished in the last wee days of December 2014. Okay, the first book is called The Midwife by Jennifer Worth, and it's a 3-book trilogy. I read the first book. Probably won't read the next 2, but not because I didn't like it, just because I'm not really a series reader, so I'm always ready to go on to bigger, better things when I finish a book. So that was a fun read, kind of a vignette style, a midwife in London. Traveling around to different calls, and so you got to know different women, and I think it'll transfer well to the BBC series. I've watched the first episode of that, so I'm curious to see more. Next up, I read Not That Kind of Girl by Lena Dunham, and that book was interesting. I mean, I didn't laugh as much as I was hoping to laugh, and I feel a little guilty about that because it's a memoir. I'm not sure if I was supposed to laugh, but she is, known to be quite humorous, and it is kind of in that what I don't know if this is an actual term, but I call it distressing humor. It's kind of so you're looking back on it 2 or 3 days, kind of smirking, but at the time it seems kind of stressful, and there's not really laugh out loud moments. So, but quick read, definitely for sure. And then I read Creativity Inc. Well, actually, I didn't read it. Technically, it was an audiobook, and it's my first ever full audiobook, which was kind of interesting. The odd thing is I think there was 12 hours of audio play, and I think I actually fell asleep for about 2 of those hours because I kind of discovered that I guess audiobooks puts me to sleep more than reading text on a page, which you think would probably be the opposite for most people, but it seems to me that when I'm reading text, I can stay awake for hours and go long past my bedtime. But with audiobooks, I'm out like a light. So, but the book itself was fascinating. If a bit repetitive at times. I mean, 12 hours to listen to an audio tape seemed like a gargantuan thing to do at the beginning, but then, in the car or just when I'm doing the dishes, it's a kind of a nice, I realize it fills a nice niche of time where I could get more reading in. So I'm looking forward to maybe trying more of that. So that was an interesting book. Then I read IQ, A Practical Guide to Inquiry-Based Learning, educational-based book. I thought this book was particularly well done in its organization and layout. It took kind of the model of inquiry-based learning and laid it out in a very clean and easy way. Also, it was a nice book to be able to put little bookmarks in and tags, sticky notes for using it as a reference in future at my work, because I can see it being very helpful in the role that I have as an instructional coach. So kind of cool. I like that book. And then I read The Reader by Bernard Schlink. This was also a movie, I don't know if you remember it, with Kate Winslet, I think, was in it. Obviously based on the book, and I had seen the movie years and years ago, and then I was at a book exchange over Christmas and I got it. It was such a fast read, but one of those profound reads where there's so many things that gets you thinking about, and this kind of interplay of history and the layers of past and memory. So it's thoughtful in that way. I really enjoyed it. Okay, so on to 2015 and my reading booktube plan for now. Because I realized in 2014, trying to do a booktube channel, that what I thought I was going to do and then what actually happened are always 2 different things. Same with what I planned on reading. I realized early on in the year, if I tried to do a to-be-read video, that I totally never read half the things I was going to say that I said I was going to read, and then I ended up reading all these other things that just came out of nowhere. So I thought, if I can't do it month to month, I'm not doing it for a whole year. So I'm going to read for the year. I have a Goodreads to read list, and that really I mean, I usually read off of that, but that grows almost weekly because I run across other things I want to read. So that list kind of grows. And then to find what I want to read, whether, I buy books, I get books from the library, I download audiobooks, I use every app possible to read books. So there's so many different ways that I read and that I get books that print. That basically, it's mind-boggling to try to say, okay, this is exactly what I'm going to read for a month, let alone a year. But I do know for sure for 2015, I want to read more audiobooks. I read my first audiobook was Creativity Inc. By Ed Catmull, the one that I read in December about Pixar. And I did find it fascinating, and I think that an audiobook and nonfiction as an audiobook seems a good fit for me. I don't think I'm quite ready to read fiction books through via audio because for so long they've been something that are only in my imagination, that to maybe hear somebody read it, I'm not quite ready yet. One day, maybe 2016, but right now, to warm myself up, I'm gonna do more audiobooks, and then by a necessity out of that, there'll be more nonfiction because I think it really worked in that genre. Also, the other reason I'll just mention quickly why I like audiobooks is because I discovered, I mean, I read it a lot as it is, but audiobooks fills an area of time that I wouldn't be able to normally read. So when I'm driving in the car, for example, and I do a lot of driving, and also when I'm doing the dishes, or I've got this paint by numbers I got for Christmas that will take hours and hours and hours, and I enjoyed kind of over the holidays throwing on the audiobook and working on that. So I feel like I'm entertaining ideas, and I'm thinking at the same time I'm able to do something that doesn't take as much of my brain power. So I feel like I've discovered this whole other area of time that can get information, that I can read more books in. So I'm kind of really jazzed about that idea. Another thing that I'm really excited about for 2015 is I've kind of been mulling over how to continue to use YouTube, or to use this Explain Everything app that I use to continue to record and share what I'm reading with other people that I know are also into reading. And it dawned on me that I really want to do a series on YouTube with this Explain Everything app, or maybe another app. I don't know what will happen in 2015, but that I'm going to call for now Reading Repercussions, because it dawned on me that doing book reviews for me seems a little awkward. I don't really like it because I feel like I'm forcing myself to think what I liked and what I didn't like. And I always have things I like and I didn't like, but I don't value that so much. I don't really look at book reviews for that information. I like watching book reviews or listening to book reviews for an aspect that's outside of that. And basically what that aspect is in every single book that one reads and that I read, there's some big, sometimes many, takeaways. There's moments of enlightenment, there's moments of connection, there's moments of discovery. There's a moment in every book where I become better, where I think differently about something for the first time. And it happens in every single book. And so while some books I don't necessarily love, there's still something I take away. And so I thought I'd like for myself to capture what that is in every book I read. So rather than post book review videos or post kind of a summary of what I've read, what I'd like to try to do every month is choose one or two books that I've read in that month and do a reading repercussion video just for that book. And what I'll talk about is the one or two, maybe three big takeaways, big nuggets, big ideas, big moments of change, big aha moments that I say, you know what, this book made me think about this, and it's the first time I've ever thought about that, or this book connected to this, and this is why. So pulls the focus of my talks around what has always really mattered to me about why I read, and why I keep chasing that high, and why I keep reading book after book after book. And that's those moments where I realized that, hey, this is cool, and I didn't think of this before this moment. And those moments happen in every book, and I just want to capture them. And then finally, I am thinking about more video options. Now, because I use this app called Explain Everything, which is great, and to be honest, I do it on my iPad. It takes me less than 30 minutes. Sometimes, though, I'm really lazy. You can see this video, I spent a little more time making these little fancy stars and these little fancy things here, these circles, and choosing different fonts. And, I want to make better quality videos. I realize I'm never going to record myself because I just don't have the time, energy, or, confidence to do that. But I do think that I could probably explore other apps, or maybe something like Camtasia, some kind of thing on a laptop, to try to push myself to have a little better quality videos, or at least make them look more fancy. I'm not real set on that. That's why I put the maybe, because the whole point of this is to record what I'm reading and to kind of have a running record of my thoughts. And but I think it's kind of always in the back of my head because it helps me grow as well. But anyways, that's 2015. I already have some reading repercussions from December, two in particular, in the wings, so I'll be posting those as well fairly soon. And I think I'm going to try to focus on that for 2015. That's the plan. So I hope you enjoy those, and thanks if you made it all the way to the end of this video. You're the best. Cheers.